RJ's going to be out of sight for a couple episodes in preparation for his new upcoming show. I have no idea what it's going to be about.
Hey, boss, you wouldn't happen to have a fire extinguisher, would you?
Oh, God help us.
Right here. Let's go.
Hi, Faceless here, and I know I'm a little late on this video, and it's because I had to let this movie stew for a little bit before I gave out my final review. Star Wars: The Last Jedi. Picking up where The Force Awakens left off, the First Order is now determined more than ever to crush whatever's left of the Resistance. After an awesome space battle sequence, the Resistance led by Leia are now on the run by the pursuing First Order and its massive fleet. While that's going on, Rey finally meets Luke Skywalker with the hopes of being trained in the ways of the Force by the legendary hero. However, it doesn't go as well as you would expect because the hero feels that the time of the Jedi has finally passed. And to top it all off, he doesn't want to have anything to do with the conflict that's taken place outside of the world he's on. Back at the Resistance fleet, Poe Dameron, played by Oscar Isaac, devises a plan to take down a key element in the First Order's arsenal with the hopes that they could escape from the pursuing fleet. The plan involves Finn, played by John Boyega, along with newcomer Rose, to go to this planet to locate a codebreaker that will be essential for this plan to work. During that whole sequence, Rey finally convinces Luke to teach her the ways of the Force, but again, not in the way you would expect it. At the same time, she's also mentally connected with Kylo Ren, played by the fabulous Adam Driver, who demonstrates that he's clearly conflicted with the events of what he did in Force Awakens. We're also treated to a little background of what happened between Luke and Ren, and given a reason why Luke put himself in exile for such a long time. And then it all comes together in one big climax of the film where the Resistance makes their last stand against the First Order. That's the short, non-spoiler summary to this film. Let me begin with the stuff that I did like. The acting in this movie was amazing. Mark Hamill gave out his A game for this film. Say what you will, but this man can act. He gives us a version of Luke Skywalker that has literally shut himself off to the rest of the universe. And you can see that he's hurting inside, holding this tremendous guilt. Adam Driver also did an amazing job as Kylo Ren. He gives such a portrayal that you can see the inner conflict within himself, and his use of nonverbals pretty much says it all. And it was also a delight to see Carrie Fisher as Leia. You can see that after years and years of fighting, she still believes in that little ray of hope where others normally give up. And the music to this film is certainly a step up from The Force Awakens. Now, I'm not saying that the soundtrack from the last movie was bad, I mean it was good, but this time around John Williams gives us a little bit more of an epicness to the pieces of music that was used. Plus giving us the right amount of nostalgia when you hear echoes of the themes in the original trilogy. And that pretty much sums up what I liked about this film. Now for the next part of these reviews, I'm gonna have to break my little rule of no spoilers. Part of the reason why I let this movie stew is just because I can't give you a full honest opinion about this film without giving you some spoilers. So if you just want to cut to my final rating, pause the video right now and jump to this timestamp right here. Otherwise, here comes some spoilers. You've been warned. Now, the only real big problem I had with this movie is just the story and in the direction that it's heading towards. In the trailer, we heard Kylo Ren saying, "Kill the past, bury it." And let me tell you, it felt like that's what the movie was trying to tell us. Forget about the original movies. Forget about the prequels. Just move on with what we got. This film was so hyped up to the point where after The Force Awakens, we had a lot of theories. As fans, we had a plethora of theories of who was Rey, who was Snoke, what happened between Kylo Ren and Luke Skywalker. And in a small way, I kind of felt for the screenwriters just because of the fact that they had these expectations that needed to be filled. But instead, they decided to do something really unexpected in this movie. And speaking about how this movie did unexpected moves or just showed us unexpected things, it felt like that Rian Johnson, the director and the writer of The Last Jedi, gave us the finger. It's almost as if he read all the popular theories that we had, what was going to happen next, who was Rey, who was Snoke. He pretty much said, "Oh, you think that's what's going to happen? Fuck you guys, we're going to do it this way." And Snoke, oh my God. I was really curious of who Snoke was. What is he in relation to the Sith? Is he part of Palpatine? Is he Darth Plagueis? You know what? It doesn't fucking matter because Kylo Ren just fucking slices him in half, and it's like, well, that happened. Supreme Leader Snoke really didn't have anything to do with this movie. All the threads that we were given in Force Awakens, it was just garbage. I mean, they built up Rey to being this some holier than thou art Force Messiah. And yes, there was a lot of theories. Was she a Skywalker? Was she a Kenobi? Irrelevant. It had nothing to do with any of those people. No, the true origin, the secret that we've all been trying to speculate, ends up being that she's a daughter of these junkers who sold her off for some money. That's it. Nothing special to it. And don't get me wrong, I'm fine with that. I'm fine that she's not linked to the Skywalkers or the Kenobis or in some cases the Palpatines. What really bothers me about this reveal is that it was built up. And not only from The Force Awakens, but through various interviews, articles from the production company saying that there is a little bit more to Rey than you would realize, and you're going to be really surprised when you find out who she really is. Well, you know what? We did get a surprise, but just not the surprise we wanted. And then let's talk about this little situation that we have going on. The First Order reigns. That's the first line that you see on the opening crawl of the movie. Call me politically stupid, but I don't really get the politics. I know that the New Republic, the capital world, or worlds as it seems, blew up. So does that mean that the New Republic's gone? It shouldn't be, because they have been reigning since the Return of the Jedi. So I refuse to believe that was the only real place that the New Republic was at. There had to have been a lot more other places, like other bases. I mean, you can't be foolish enough to keep your bases in one central location like the capital. And I am very sure that there are a lot of people in the galaxy that would have been really pissed off and want to rally behind the resistance and take out the First Order. But no, that doesn't happen. And I'm sure that there are books to explain what's going on in that particular galaxy. But I really don't have time to read a book, and I shouldn't have to read a book to understand what's going on in the films that we have in the theaters. And this leads to me thinking that this is just nothing more than just lazy writing. Here's another example that I think is just lazy writing. Just to have drama for the sake of drama, or to draw out a situation. The movie does start off promising, with the Resistance making a run for it from the First Order. But then we literally go into a crawl. I mean, the slowest space chase ever. Apparently, the First Order has this hyperspace tracking, so wherever the Resistance goes, they can follow them. Kind of reminds me of an episode in Battlestar Galactica. And for the sake of creating more drama for the Resistance, they only had enough fuel to make one more jump before they basically out of gas. I mean, on paper, it sounds good, but then you have the whole First Order armada behind this small little fleet. The Resistance cruisers are the ones that are running out of gas. What's stopping from the First Order to just have a couple of more ships, hyperspace right in front of them, turn around and come right at them? What the hell? But of course, if they did that, we wouldn't have a movie. So, whatever. What really upset me about that point is that Admiral Akbar, we all knew Admiral Akbar. It's a trap. They killed him off screen. I mean, supposedly he got blown out in space along with Princess Leia and everything, but so not a dignified death. I mean, it's Admiral Akbar, for crying out loud. Again, kill the past, bury it. So with Leia out of commission, we have Laura Dern's character taking over the fleet, and she says that she has a plan, but she decides not to share it with Poe Dameron, who at this point is asking, what are we going to do? What's our next move? For some reason, she's not telling him, which in turn causes him to do a mutiny to take over the fleet so that way he can devise his own plan, which, by the way, it means Finn has to go all the way to this planet that is like a casino planet or something and find this code breaker, which I'll get back to that there because I was kind of disappointed in that whole situation. Either way, the plan that was so secretive that you can't tell Poe ends up being something really simplistic, and it would have just circumvented a lot of the drama that happened in the Resistance fleet, and I just didn't get it. It literally was just for the sake of adding more drama, and you don't need to do that. As for Poe Dameron's plan, it sounded okay. They just had to look for this codebreaker who ended up being Del Toro's character, who honestly reminded me of Roger Rabbit because he had this stutter. Don't get me wrong. I don't have anything against anybody that has a speech impediment. I get it. I even have my own little speech impediment. But the fact that this character, he was not utilized in the best way, and it just made that whole situation, what Finn and Rose had to go through, just really, because the plan didn't work. In the end, the plan didn't work, and it was just a big time waster. That's the staple of this whole movie, is that whatever you expected how this movie was going to go is not going to go the way you want it. It even said in the trailer, this is not going to end the way you think. You're right. It didn't end the way I think. As for the climactic battle where the Resistance makes their last stand, we have Luke Skywalker facing off with Kylo Ren, and honestly, I didn't have anything to complain about that. That was actually pretty damn cool. I will give them props in that one. The whole force projection that Luke wasn't really there and just buying the Resistance time to just escape from the little situation that they're in, that was great. And then Luke dies because apparently he used a lot of force, or whatever he had in him, used everything he had to do that little force projection, and then he fades away. He becomes one with the force. Kill the past, bury it. Now, I know I didn't really mention about the whole Phasma thing, because there's really nothing much to mention about Phasma. She was there for like a good, maybe solid 10 minutes, and then she got killed off again. Or we are led to believe that she's been killed off, but yeah, it's not really worth mentioning. They made it seem like she was going to play a bigger part, and she ended up being Boba Fetted, no less. So I really don't have much to say. Again, a waste of another good actor in this film. Honestly, I think the biggest problem with this movie, this film, in a whole, on Return of the Jedi, we were left with a sense of, a finality, so to speak, a happy ending. And then we go into this whole new trilogy, the sequel trilogy, and just found out that, no, a lot more bad shit happened along the way before we got to these movies. And it's kind of a downer. It really is a big downer. First, we had to contend with the fact that Han Solo is gone. Now we're going to have to contend with the fact that Luke Skywalker is gone. And as for Leia, I know they didn't kill her off at all in this film. And I was really expecting that, but they didn't. And okay, cool, but how are you going to explain her not being in the 9th film? And yeah, there have been reports saying that they're not going to use a CGI replica or replace the actress. I hope they don't replace Leia. I hope they don't replace Carrie Fisher or recast Leia. It just wouldn't be the same. All in all, it just makes me feel like that there's really nothing to look forward to in the last installment of this new trilogy. And if that's what Rian Johnson was going for, the sense of just hopelessness, but you got to keep that little hope. Well, I definitely do have hopelessness, but it almost makes me not want to care to see any more. I almost want to just say, I'm going to disregard this sequel trilogy and just, 1 through 6. That was my Star Wars movies. That's it. I don't need any more. And the fact that they're coming out with a Han Solo movie, I didn't ask for it. I didn't necessarily want it either. I'm going to watch it, but I don't know. It becomes clear to me that this has become some sort of franchise that they're going to milk as much as they can out of it, and it's really sad. I know I probably went a little too far. I just totally let down my barriers and just let it all out. This review is nowhere near as analytical as most of my other reviews, so I apologize for that. But to sum it all up, all in all, this movie was okay. It certainly wasn't my favorite out of the whole saga, but I'm willing to accept that for now, I guess. I'm not really looking. They really got to give me something really big to look forward to in episode 9. Therefore, my final rating for this film is a C-. Again, I apologize for going off the rails. I thought I had a direction, but it's just, I'm going to have to look back and really edit this out and just give you guys something a little bit more coherent, because even I lost myself. So if you've seen The Last Jedi, please comment below. Let me know what you think of the movie. But until then, This is Faceless, signing off.
Right here. Let's go.
Peanut butter disaster.